Hi guys, Jeff Westfall back. Now we're going to start digging into the meat of this shadow fighting combination. There are a lot of things you might have seen that you might not have noticed, or you might wonder why I did them. In either case, we're going to try to take care of you here. We begin in a boxing structure. Now, you've already watched my videos on that. You understand the idea behind the boxing structure. I haven't talked a lot about kicking stance yet. There's more than one kicking stance, and this is an anterior kicking stance, meaning my kicks go this way, whether I pivot a little bit or not. More the front of my hips goes towards the target. That's going to be the subject of a series coming up, is anterior kicking. So the anterior kicking structure has my feet the same distance apart from each other as the boxing structure. It's taller, so the knees almost straighten out. That's not the only change. If this is my boxing structure and I go to my kicking structure, I'm going to need to widen from that perspective this structure without getting my feet any further apart. So I draw them like an arc, as if my legs are a compass in geometry class and my foot draws an arc on the ground. Now, I can make that this foot, which is what we're doing in this combination. That means I'm backing up a little bit and moving to my kicking stance. I could also draw an arc with this foot and come out to a kicking stance. Either one of those would be fine, but for this combination, I'm choosing to do it the other way because I'm also doing an evasion. I'm imagining a kick coming at this leg. Now, since I'm in a boxing structure, it's more likely to be coming to the outside of my leg. The inside is harder to angle at from against a boxing structure, but this is ridiculously open in a boxing structure. So for whatever reason, I'm imagining I found myself in a boxing structure and suddenly I have an opponent who's ready to kick me. That's my mistake. Now I can fix it if I'm quick enough by stepping back to a kicking stance. Now that just made this leg, watch this leg, look at it in space and see how far it is front to back. And when I do that, you'll notice that it backs out a bit and it goes to the side. So it's definitely at a different aiming point than where my opponent was aiming. Depending on how accurate he is with his kick, he'll probably still catch me with some toes, but that actually works to my advantage. Most of the time, if you kick hard and you hit way out by your toes, it hurts you more than it hurts them. And the more experienced and cool and calm you become as you spar, you'll get to where you'll do this less and less and let a little more of it hit. So long as it's not disrupting your structure, your ability to come back in, it's all good. It's just going to be a little mild bruise. If you don't like the mild bruise, step back the extra 2 inches. But those are 2 inches you're going to have to buy back when you come back in. So that's our first transition, from here to here. Now, once I'm up here in my kicking stance and I elevate, and the reason I elevate is because I want my hips to have freedom to move in every direction. The more I bend my knees, the more my hips can go backwards. I can push back with my butt, but they don't like to go forwards in this structure, not down this low. Great for punching, not so good for kicking with most kicks. So from this structure, if I want to kick and I want to dodge simultaneously, that does the trick. Okay, let's look at the next transition here. I'm going to do a switch to go into a left round kick. Now, it is possible in this structure, and under certain conditions advisable, it is possible for me to throw a left kick right from where I am. Depending on the height, it might look different. That's a perfectly valid technique. That's not what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a switch kick. Now, for a switch kick to happen, both of my feet are going to travel like this, like my legs are scissors. So from a sideways view, it's going to look like that. Now, it will almost never stop in that position. You'll either do it and come out of it or do it and kick. You might be faking with it. Occasionally, you may hesitate here, and it's okay to do that. I just won't be doing it with this today. I'm intending right off the bat to kick with this leg. So, boxing structure, evade the kick, get yourself in kicking stance, kick. Now that takes us to our next point. When you're shadow fighting and you want a round kick is any of the kicks on this spectrum. Okay, here's an old man doing a downward. I used to do that much better. A really great Muay Thai man can put his leg up here and bring it diagonally down to your neck. 25 years ago, maybe I could do that, but not so much now. Anyway, so any kind of round kick I'm throwing, if I'm kicking in the air instead of hitting a heavy bag or tie pads or a human, then I'm going to need some kind of mechanism to allow me to feel like I'm flowing, because I don't have anything to catch my kick. And sometimes you'll miss without intending to. Now I'm throwing a diagonal trajectory kick, or just a diagonal kick. That's my trajectory. That means for some reason my opponent's core is diagonal, perpendicular to my diagonal kick. Or maybe I'm kicking to an inner thigh. If I were dumb enough to stand like this, not only is my groin exposed, if that's illegal, these are amazing targets right here and here. Well, when I go to a kicking stance, I give a little more of this than I do in the boxing stance. It's still harder to hit. The kicking stance is definitely the place to be against someone in kicking range if you want to face them. But if you're here, we already talked about step back to dodge the kick. Now I'm up so my hips can move, which allows me quick access to my switch, which allows me to throw my kick. Now when I throw my kick, I'm going to use a technique that I use to absorb the kinetic energy and rotation of my diagonal kick by doing what I call a break at the knee. Now this has nothing to do with hurting myself. It means my kick is going to get to the target or just before, and then it's going to bend at the knee, like this. So my kick gets up, I let it bend at the knee and come across in this, to me it looks ugly, but it feels good, just like a pitcher going into throwing a fastball. It really loads you to throw your straight right hand. So as you reach this break at the knee, you just start driving yourself into your right hand and put your foot down in the appropriate place. Let me do that back here. Okay, the last thing to talk about on today's video. If you go back and you watch the video I did, I can't remember which one it is, but it's Boxing for the Martial Arts. And I talked about the tap step, where you take a big stretching step and then tap right in time. Well, one of the best applications of a tap step is when you are landing off of a kick. So if I throw my kick, one of the setups for a tap step is to spread my stance way out. Well, I can make myself land a little bit extra far out. I would never stay here for any length of time. I would immediately tap step this, boom, and throw my straight right hand. So we'll leave it there. That's several transitions and explanations, and it'll give you a better understanding of what you're doing at the beginning of Shadowcombo number 1.